So some of you might know that I was an audio salesman from the late 70s to the mid 90s at a store called Sound by Singer in New York City, which still is there. Andy Singer is still selling audio. And I have some videos with him that I will link to below. But anyway, it's a tough job. It's a lot of work selling audio beyond the actual selling part. I always said to people who thought it was such a great job, I said, when I get to work, from when I get there to when we lock the door, it's a race. There's not a lot of spare time, not around just hanging out, listening to cool stuff on really expensive audio. It was a lot of work. But there were periods where there were spaces and we used to do things, right? So one of my favorite stories, this didn't happen at Sound by Singer, but one of my salesman friends at another store, I think it was Tech Hi-Fi, this particular store went out of business, or maybe when Tech Hi-Fi went out of business. But anyway, at the end of the day, they had this one Vega speaker. And this is the days of selling pairs of speakers, so they don't remember why they had one, but they had this one Vega speaker. And they said, I don't know what was going through their minds, but it sounds like an audio salesman kind of thing to do. It said, let's blow this puppy up. Let's just blast it and crank it. And anyway, they did. They hooked it up to some giant amp, I think Phase Linear 400, and they played it at max. The amp was a really powerful amp, and the amp was distorting. The woofer's freaking out, and the speaker didn't go. I was like, wow, this thing is tough, this speaker, the Vega. So one of them had the bright idea. Oh, the speaker had like a built-in circuit breaker if it got too much power, and the circuit breaker kept popping open, saving the speaker. So then they opened up the speaker, they jumped the fuse, the circuit breaker thing. They hit it again, and the speaker just kept going, finally going until finally, bam! The speaker, sparks came out, fire, smoke, and everything, and they successfully blew up this speaker. But it took a lot of effort to break this speaker. Usually, break speakers by accident. These guys are trying to break this Vega, and it was getting the best of them. But they eventually prevailed. So anyway, that's one story. Then there was the time, I think Andy Singer was on vacation, and we decided that we were going to, when he was going to arrive that day, whatever, Tuesday, Wednesday or something, we were going to put newspaper on the windows and put going out of business sale, everything 80% off or something, and just that he would freak out when he, approached the store. We didn't actually have the nerve to pull that off, but we were so close. One of my friends had this customer who was really freaking out. He wanted to buy a Koetsu cartridge. It was a lot of money, and he couldn't afford it, and he was like going. And then finally, he said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come and I'm going to buy this thing. And I think it was a Koetsu Rosewood. So my friend, Mike, not Michael Trey, different Michael, he took a Grado cartridge, and he got little pieces of wood, and he basically glued it together so that from a distance at least, it kind of looked like a Koetsu Rosewood. So the guy comes into the store, and he says, so do you have my Koetsu? Is it here? And he says, oh, yeah, let me go and get it. So he gets it, and he brings out the thing, and he goes like this, and he's like handing it to him, and then he says, oh! And then he drops it. He drops the fake Koetsu. It was like a $9 Grado or something. He drops the fake Koetsu, and the guy's like, you broke my cartridge, all my money. He's like, no, it's just a fake cartridge. And he brings out his real Koetsu. But, it was just one of those things. They were friends, the customer and the salesman. They played practical jokes on each other all the time. What else can I tell you? So then, we did have this wheel in like the lunchroom at Sound by Singer, and it was a wheel that we would spin and just come up with crazy things to say to customers who would ask crazy questions like, how well built is that amplifier? And we'd say, oh, we'd spin the wheel and it would stop on, oh, it's built like a brick shit house or something like that, right? Is it better than da-da-da-da? And then we would spin the wheel, and then we would come up with an answer, because these were just such nonsensical questions, So it was just something, again, that we did to amuse ourselves. This was funny. So Tony Michelson, who then had a company, he then went on to start Musical Fidelity. But before he had Musical Fidelity, he had a company called Michelson and Austin, and they made tube amplifiers in England. And Tony Michelson came to the store to talk to Andy. We came to the U.S. to do a bunch of business things, but he came to Sound by Singer, and he was having some meeting with Andy in the back, right? So we noticed that Tony left out his bag and his camera. He had an expensive camera, and this was the days of film cameras. So we took his camera, and then we took pictures of us taking his amplifier, his Michelson and Austin amplifier, and putting it in a garbage pail. So we we literally put it in a garbage pail and then took pictures of it. And maybe we made believe we were like peeing on his amplifier or something. So we took all these pictures on his camera and put the camera back in his bag. And you know what? He never, like we were just joking, obviously. And he never said anything, because surely whatever other pictures were on that roll, he surely developed that stuff, and I guess he figured out it was just a joke. Maybe he didn't find it funny. Maybe, I don't know. Are there any other stories? I think I'm done. But, there was this one guy who someone called and said, my amplifier just blew up. And the salesman says to him, really? What color sparks were they? And he said, I don't know. It was just like sparks, and then there was smoke. And he said, well, were they yellow sparks or blue sparks? And the guy, why are you asking me these questions? This makes a difference there. Yellow ones mean one thing to me, blue ones mean another. It was a joke. But anyway, it was just a thing that we would do. Of course, customers did incredibly mean things and tortured salesmen in various ways over the years. I once had this guy who would just come and ask me questions. Like, so Steve, what do you think? Is Krell better than Threshold? And I was getting impatient, and he kept coming in, for hours coming in, just filling up days. And I said, hey, what's his name? Joe, I got work to do. I can't sit here and just talk to you about audio all the time. And then he says, oh, why not? Yeah, I'm a customer. I said, well, no, you're not actually a customer, because customers buy things and you haven't bought anything. So you're not a customer. You're just a guy. I like you, but you're not really a customer. And he said, oh, you're right. And then he bought, I think, a Dynavector Ruby cartridge for $300. He said, okay, now I'm a customer. Let's talk some more about audio. I was like, wow. But, I'll tell you one thing that I resented about some customers, and that is that they weren't actual customers. They were coming in, and they saw me as their entertainment for an hour or two. Hey, let's go to Sound by Singer and listen to some stuff, with no intention of buying. Clearly no intention of buying. They just said, we've been reading about the blah, 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 and the blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, okay, because maybe they were actually going to be customers. But over the years that I did selling audio, I came to realize that some of these people they weren't customers, and they were never going to be customers. They just thought it was okay to come in and waste someone's time. And if you ever confronted somebody with that issue, they might say, well, how do you know? Maybe I'm a millionaire. Maybe I could buy and sell this store 50 times. I said, maybe you could. But since I've been doing this a while now, I kind of know the difference between a time waster and someone who's actually going to buy something. And you are in that category of time waster. So let's cut it short. So I would listen. If the store was dead and nothing was happening, and a guy came in who potentially might really buy something, because after all, as people have pointed out, it's not a museum, it's a store. We sell things. So yes, we're not here just merely to demo equipment. We're here to demo equipment in hopes that you will make a purchase at some point. Not that day necessarily, not that day, just that you might actually buy something. That's all. That's the only qualifier, is that you might potentially buy something for real, as opposed to just saying, well, I might buy something. There's a difference there, a difference with a distinction. I think I'm done. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show, and it's still coming up daily, so please check it out. We're coming to the end of the year, so please, everybody, have a great new year. Enjoy your holidays. Hope you get nice presents. And I hope to see you back again here very, very soon. Bye-bye.